Jim, before we wrap things up, we have gone a while here, but we have some breaking news, or...
Uh-oh.
I don't know how broken it is. It certainly isn't fixed, though. But, Jim, we have some news that's coming out. Fightful Select is reporting, this is sent by a few of the listeners to the Drive-Thru email, Jericho approached CM Punk unhappy about the brawl-out fight as... The brawl-out fight?
The brawl-out fight?
Unhappy about the brawl-out fight as well as the nature of the scrum that had just taken place. Jericho told CM Punk that he was a cancer to the locker room and a detriment to the company. Those we've spoken to didn't recount CM Punk's reply verbatim, but said that he effectively told Jericho it wasn't his business and he needed to leave. Can you imagine? You're in the middle of all this shit, and you and your friend are fighting these other guys who have fucked with you, and his girl is there, and your dog is there, and people are screaming and all this shit, and you're fucking been hit in one way or another, and you're hurt, and you're bloody, and all of a sudden in the middle of that, Jericho runs in, probably just combed his hair. Stop! Enough! Everyone, stop!
You're a cancer to the locker room, said Mr. Pot to Mr. Kettle. And I wish we got the exact quote, but I'm sure that Punk probably drew his fist back from one of the Bucks' face and took his other foot out of the other Bucks' ass and turned over to Jericho and said, "It's not any of your business, and I think you should go now." And then resumed ripping out carotid arteries.
Thanks for showing up, Chris.
Yeah, thank you. Where were you when we all needed you?
Why didn't you run in with everyone else? Where were you, Chris?
If he's worried about being a locker room leader, why wasn't he one of the people that went to Tony Khan and said, "You've been hearing about this, and you've been hearing about this, and you've been warned that it's headed to a physical confrontation, and there's going to be some type of showdown, and you're frivolously ignoring this"? Why didn't Chris step up and be a locker room leader by getting Tony to address the situation that he had been informed of over and over again?
Because he wanted Punk gone. He never wanted Punk there to begin with.
No, it couldn't be that. Couldn't be that. Why, they had a long series of matches back in the old WWF days, didn't they? They go way back.
Yeah, how far back? That's a long time ago that you're talking about.
Well, I'm sure some things stay with you. Can you imagine working a long series with Chris Jericho? And how I'm sure that was interesting discussions on how that would go even back then.
And to be honest, that's kind of the end of Chris Jericho when he was Chris Jericho. That's kind of the end of that period right there.
Well, he may be back on his period because he's firmly back
I set you up
in the seat here in control of the period he's having right now, ladies and gentlemen. And